Well, the Captain America Brave New World reviews are out there, and they're bad. Like, really bad. Like, I did not expect them to be this bad. What the fuck? But the Rotten Tomatoes score being what it is not the full picture of how people feel about this movie. So I want to do this video where I go over the Rotten Tomatoes reviews. I talk about the social media reviews. I look at all the commonalities between what every single kind of person is saying about this movie, whether they're positive on it or negative on it. I want to let you know what's going on and how you should expect this movie to hit you. Now, as it currently stands right now, if I look at the Rotten Tomatoes score for Captain America Brave New World, it is at 49% with 93 reviews in. Now, it could go up a bit, it could go down a bit, but that's about half of the total reviews that are going to come in for this thing. And unless there's some crazy disparity between the people that reviewed it early and the people that are reviewing it a little bit later on, you're looking at about what the RT score is going to be.
And it sucks.
Currently around a 50% Rotten Tomato. But the thing that makes this crazy is that the early reactions, like the social media reviews, were really freaking positive. Like earlier today, I spent an hour going over tons of different reviews from people on social media. This was before the official RT score came out because the world premiere was last night, and then there was a lifting of the social media reaction embargo, and then you had the official Rotten Tomatoes scores get in there at around noon today. And man, I gotta tell you, as I read through all of the reviews early on, they were incredibly positive. Nobody was exactly saying that the movie was a masterpiece or that it was one of the best that Marvel had ever created, but there was a lot of positivity about it. A lot of people said it was better than they expected, that certain things stood out to them. And I saw a lot of folks that were really big Marvel fans or really big comic book fans that were saying that this felt like a return to form for the MCU. That finally, we were getting answers to some of the biggest questions we've had about what is actually even going on in the world of the MCU. And as we were going through those reviews, there were some in the middle, very few in the very, very negative side, and a lot of positive reviews. Like, I'm telling you, man, a lot of positive reviews. I was thinking this thing would come out with like a 60, 70, maybe even towards 80%. That's what it looked like to me when I was looking at all the social media reviews. But alas, that is not reflected in the RT score, and many, many critics are being incredibly harsh towards this movie. So what is going on? How are you going to feel about this? I would say if you're a big Marvel fan, you're probably going to enjoy this movie much more than that 50% RT score would have you believe. I've seen enough big-time Marvel fans out there that really like the movie, that think it accomplishes a lot of fun things, and mostly pushes the story of the Marvel Cinematic Universe forward, that I feel comfortable saying if you're a big-time Marvel fan, you're probably going to enjoy this movie, at least better than a 50%. I also think if you are more of a fan than a critic, like if you just enjoy going to the movies, you're not looking for anything crazy, you just want to have a good time and be entertained, I think this movie's going to accomplish that. But it seems like for a lot of the critics, this thing is just coming up short, and it's mostly because it feels thin. Like the main thing I am seeing repeated in negative review after negative review after negative review is that there's no substance here. It doesn't feel like there are actual character motivations or anything really interesting going on with these characters. Instead, it feels kind of like just a superhero adventure without any of the seriousness or stakes that maybe you would want. I've heard it described as flat. I've heard it described as choppy, uneven, not well paced. Even the people that are very positive on it say it has some problems. It gets weighed down in exposition and has crazy evidence of reshoots here and there. And so I think it's kind of messy. I think that it doesn't really go there with any of the points it's trying to make. Seems like it kind of plays it safe. Seems like it plays it pretty surface level with the political ideas. And so it ends up feeling a little flat, a little unfulfilled. And I think for people that aren't really big fans of the MCU and are just looking for really good movies, which to be fair, that was a Marvel thing back in the day too. Like Marvel would also make incredible movies that did win critics over. But I'm making the point that like if you're that kind of person, if you're really critical, this might not be for you. And it seems like that's where a lot of the hate is coming from, is people that are not really all that attached to the Marvel Cinematic Universe thing, and perhaps even people that are like fatigued of this whole situation, maybe frustrated with Marvel overall, maybe frustrated that Marvel continues to just put out movie after movie, even when it doesn't seem like it's really working. So if you're super critical, if you've had a lot of issues with Marvel, if you're not really dialed in to like the MCU and not a super fan, this movie, it seems like from what I'm seeing in the reviews, is either not going to be for you, or it's just not really going to satisfy you in the same way it might satisfy a fan like me. And of course, I don't know. I'm going to see the movie for myself tomorrow. I will do a review tomorrow evening. But from what I've seen in the reviews today, even on Rotten Tomatoes, but especially in the social media reviews, I feel comfortable saying that I'm probably going to enjoy this movie quite a bit. I like comic book action stuff. I love the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think a lot of people are saying that, like, the concept of the Avengers, the status of that team, the status of the world in general, and all of these big questions that we have about Marvel, they're all going to be set up and answered in Brave New World, because it's like the start of setting up the stage for Doomsday, right? Like, that's what this is. And although I don't know for sure, I'm going to see it for myself. I do see a lot of evidence in the different reviews that there's still a lot of stuff in there that I will enjoy, and I think I might overall have a good time with this movie. But man, it seems like the roller coaster ride of emotion with regards to this film just continues, man. Even today, I was super high on it. I was getting really excited when I read all those social media reviews, and then when I saw that RT score, it was shocking, man. Like, that's pretty low for an RT score for a Marvel movie. And it's such a weird moment because there feels like there's so much hype for Fantastic Four. It feels like there's so much hype for Thunderbolts. It feels like there's so much hype for Daredevil, but right now we're living through Captain America, and there's been so much said about this movie, and it's been being made for so long, and like, did it have a ton of reshoots? Did it not? What was the budget? Was it really under 200 million? Was it not? Like, what is the deal here? This is not a great situation to be in for the fandom. And when we go into this movie, we go into this weekend, and we're all seeing that Rotten Tomatoes score, and we're trying to say, like, oh, maybe we will still like it. Like, this is no position to be in as the fans. And I gotta say, even if the movie ends up being really good and satisfies fans like me, right? Even if I like it, I still gotta say this is an L for Marvel, because by making a movie that was this inaccessible to the critics, by making a movie that was this sort of just middle of the road and giving the critics the opportunity to make all of these negative comments, you have put the fan base in another awkward situation. This is bad. This is not what we want. And it's like in the UFC or in like MMA, they have this expression like, don't let it go to the judges, right? And I feel like with this situation, Marvel made a movie that let it go to the judges. And instead, it should have been a knockout. Like, it should have been so fire and so good. And it feels like they've been working on this thing so much that, like, you're telling me you really couldn't have, with all that effort, all that money, and all that time, you're telling me you really couldn't have delivered a knockout punch with this character or with this concept? Then maybe it was a bad concept. By allowing it to go to the judges, they have created another situation where we're all sitting here about to check out a Marvel movie, and we've got a 50% Rotten Tomatoes score. Like, dude, this is not good. Now, I want to be fair here because I'm actually like a Marvel fan, and I actually do think they are turning things around. I'm optimistic about the future, but that's also still like kind of part of the problem with the right now. It's like, I feel like I have to get through certain things to then get into a more positive future. So it's like, that's kind of a bummer. And I don't love that we're going to have to go through this, but I will say it's not so bad that I'm like pessimistic towards the movie. I'm still going to go in. I still think there will be a lot of stuff that I enjoy. I might feel myself starting to like see where the critics were at if it's really as sloppy as some people are saying, and that'll kind of be a bummer. But there was enough positivity in the social media reviews, and there's enough positivity just in general. Like, a lot of people right now on Twitter going to bat for this movie and being like, dude, it's way better than a 50%. Like, this is crazy. And these are people that have actually seen it. So there's enough of that energy to keep me at least enthusiastic to see it and to think that it will be enjoyable to me. But it's like, damn, Marvel, please don't do this again. Like, somebody joked in chat and they were like, imagine we get a 45% or a 50% RT score for Doomsday. And like, I thought about it. I was like, dude, oh, that would suck. And it's like, man, like, I can live through Brave New World not being the best, especially if Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four is lit. But like, at some point, you got to stop doing this. You got to go with fire, and you got to be able to do stuff that gets the fans excited, man. This has been such a weird, awkward experience getting excited and getting ready for this movie. The ship's better slap, Kevin Feige. The ship better slap. But there you have it. The first reviews for Captain America Brave New World and my thoughts about them. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Again, I'm going to watch the movie tomorrow. I'll let you know how I feel about it. I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.